Want more Marvel? Digging DC? Looking for the latest in nerd news? We got it all and more. This is
Distance Nerding.
We're talking about anything pop culture, movies, music, food, wrestling, whatever you're nerding out on, we want to talk about it. The Distance Nerding podcast celebrates all things you nerd out on. More nerd news, less nerd negativity. Each week, join Young Phil and Jamez 5000 as they discuss what's new in the nerd world and get your voice heard in the Facebook group, The Distance Nerdington Post. Grab some tacos, hold on to your butts, and strap in for the ride. You are now listening to Distance Nerding.
Hey!
I can't believe I was there. I get this whole long intro and I still get caught off guard.
You're like looking off the distance.
How are you doing? Like I can't tell. Like I like the darker lighting on yourself, but it almost looks like you're getting pulled over by some cops. I feel like at any moment an officer is going to be coming up to you, ma'am. Can I see your license and registration?
It's because I'm conflicted between the dark side and the light side. You know, that's how it is.
You should never be conflicted.
I am wearing the shirt of my favorite podcast, Philippe.
Oh, Distance Nerding in the house. What's up, Philippe? How you doing? Yes, and that is a very nice shirt she's wearing. I'm just wearing the standard Kyber Cave. But that is my goal in life. I want to get rid of all my other shirts. Every shirt I own will say Kyber Cave on it.
That's a pretty good goal. Aw, Philippe is blushing.
Aww.
Yeah, and you know how hard that is. If you've ever listened to Distance Nerding, you know how hard that is to do to make Philippe blush.
Yeah, I try.
Oh, Phoenix, I'm so sad. I'm so upset. Tonight is Ezra's last show.
I have actually been crying all day, so
getting all emotional. Yes, so Kyber Cave on the 27th of this month will be our 3-year anniversary. And in that 3 years, I've had many employees. Well, you know, I wouldn't say many employees because we're not like a huge company, but I've had some employees. And Ezra is the one that has been with me the longest on payroll. And he also started with the show. And so Ezra is a very big part of Kyber Cave. We are going to miss him as he goes off to get yelled at.
Okay.
To wake up early in the morning.
I'm going to have free personal training, free food, free bunk beds. Sounds like a win. And I get paid for it all.
Meanwhile, you get your butt kicked and yelled at, and you know.
It's just like summer camp.
Exactly.
You get to go canoeing too.
Actually, yes.
I mean, he's gonna be a Marine.
I don't think it's quite like canoeing, like a leisurely stroll down the pond with your binoculars looking for ducks. I don't think it'll be that kind of canoeing if you get to do any.
It's a different kind of duck, but
it's different.
With rounds shooting over your head.
Yeah.
Yes, you'll be very missed, my friend.
I will definitely be trying to come back whenever I can. Can't expect to come back within 2021, but hopefully soon after, I will be here.
I know because your boot camp is like what, 3 months?
13 weeks.
So
So 3 months in a week.
Okay, 3 months in a week. What the hell, man? You're like, you know what? You're like a parents when they have babies. They're like, my baby is 36 months old. I was like,
okay,
what the hell is that? It's 3 years old. Your child is 3. All right, start using years.
Technically, it's 15 weeks because of quarantine.
Wow. What, you have to quarantine before or something?
Yeah, no, I have to quarantine. Yeah, I have to quarantine before boot camp, in a military bunker.
Wow. Oh,
it's getting fun.
Yeah, that's. Hey, man, whatever you got to do, but at any rate, you are doing it. We will miss you very, very much when you are off to the military.
Well, I'll be coming back. This is where my heart is.
Yeah, and you are always welcome. That's the beauty of technology, right? You don't even have to be in the room with us. So
I was
wherever
more
you're,
in Kyber Cave. I'll be back in Kyber Cave.
Well, yes. Woohoo! Good, because I'm sure I'll need the help. I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
You get your favorite manager back.
I'm his favorite employee, so we're good. We're good.
I don't think so.
Wow.
I don't think so. We're gonna fight about that.
How about everybody equally sucks? How about that?
No, you like how I clean.
Yes, you have very good cleaning ethics.
I only
Cleaning
clean
work.
because no one else does.
Hey man, everyone's got their job, right? So hey,
No.
before we go too much further, I want to make an apology to everybody who might have been seeing our poster online. We had a little bit of a mistake. We had put the artist from last week, who was Eryf, fantastic. If you didn't get this chance to see that one, you should check that out. But it is actually Mr. Jeremiah Wicklien who the photo is correct, right?
The photo is correct. Yeah, I must have hit back. I'm the graphic design guys. That was my mistake. I changed something about the photo, the poster at the last minute. My bad. And I must have hit back and changed the text as well, and I didn't catch it. My apologies, guys. I am so sorry.
Well, I just want to make sure that Jeremiah gets all the credit that he is due. Not that I don't like giving Eryf double credit, but from what I understand, James Kaiser, who is the producer of the segment Flow for the show, let me know that Jeremiah, aka Ventress, he's one of the old school flow artists, and he was actually one of the very first people to start putting out tutorials on staff and spinning. So he's an OG that a lot of people may recognize. And actually, he's currently organizing a dance flow competition. So if you want more information about that, you should contact him. But I just definitely want to make sure that Jeremiah gets all the credit that he is due. And with no further ado, I think we should see that flow. What do you guys think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Man,
that gets a slow cap.
That was amazing. You know what? That video was really cool because unlike a lot of the other videos, I felt like it was slow enough that you could almost take that and use that as a tutorial video.
Yeah, exactly what I was thinking.
And with the music, because usually we get a lot of you'll hear a lot of the techno type of music or futuristic music, electronic music. The rock music is popular, but having the slow violin gave it a whole different feel to that.
Absolutely.
It was almost like watching a ballet, kind of. Yeah.
You couldn't see it, but behind stage, I was just
throw your lighters up. Yeah, no, that was absolutely amazing. That is what I love about this segment. Every week, even though you think, when you've seen one flow artist, you've seen them all, but how they apply their technique and application is just absolutely amazing. I could see that at a performance, you know what I mean, in a dark room in front of a crowd. I could see people loving that.
Every flow artist is like a snowflake. If you really think about it, no flow artist is the same. Even if they have the same teachers, they still apply their different techniques.
Right. Yeah. Right. You threw me off for a minute with the whole snowflake thing, dude. I thought we were going. I was like, this is not a political show, dude. We don't need to be talking about. All right. Hey, Phoenix, are we having any better luck with our guests tonight? Are they still like Iceman? They're still freezing up? Oh wait, great. Now I can't even hear Phoenix.
We can't hear Phoenix. No.
You are on mute.
No, she's not on mute. Her mic isn't working.
Oh, there we go. I hear something.
There we go. Yep.
Okay.
Did you turn off your mic?
Nope. Turn it back on. It shut off on me. I don't know. All right.
So I was asking, does it look like our freezing issues are
issues are fixed? So this cosplayer is actually also an amazing TikToker, and she's incredibly funny. So I thought I would open with a little video to introduce her sense of humor and her amazing talent.
And we bring the TikTok videos back in for Ezra's last show. So what a double win bonus.
So here we go.
So apparently, if you want to look sexy, you have to bite your lip and look off to the distance. Nailed it.
Everyone, please welcome to the show, Anna Faulkner. Hi, welcome to the show. Hi, everyone. So you are both a cosplayer and a TikToker. Wow. Wow. In fact, and I'll pull up a couple pictures in a few. What really got you into doing this sort of thing? I know that's a question I ask a lot, but I'm always interested in the answer.
Cosplay or TikTok?
Well, let's start with cosplay.
I've always really liked sewing and creating things, and our big con that happens locally was starting to take off, and they were looking for people to participate in stuff. I'd never made characters before. I didn't know you could do that. So I was like, well, let's just give it a try, and threw stuff together. And then I found this entire community, and it just inspired me to just keep making things, characters that inspire, characters that you just like the aesthetic. And it's really just what got me going was the idea of it, meeting people.
How long have you been at it?
8 years now? Yeah, about 8 years.
And do you personally make every costume?
Not every costume. I have the ones that I've made, the ones that I'll go thrift shopping for and re-sew them. And then I'll have the ones that I buy, and then I try to do something where I've made anything, an accessory, whatever, so I have something personally made to go with it. it's a variety.
And I'll actually let me see. In fact, this one's one of my favorites, which is the Doctor Who. Wow. So you're not afraid to even gender bend.
Mm-mm. Cosplay is an expression. Whatever makes you happy, whatever helps you get in touch with that character, as long as you're being respectful, go for it. Be inspired and have fun. And
what has been your favorite to put together? Because I'm looking at so many right now. They're all sort of in front of me. Because like even Dean, this is Ezra's favorite.
I was really proud of that one. My personal favorite, unfortunately, I wasn't able to find a picture of it, but it's my Bellatrix. And I was asked to do Bellatrix for this Harry Potter Yule Ball event that takes place at a local club. And I get in character for her. And I know I've done a good job when I'm taking a break and a girl walks up to me and she said, I thought I was going to have to hit you because you were being mean.
Oh,
like, I'm doing great. But she's just so wild and weird and nothing like me, like, because she's evil. It's just fun to step outside of yourself and do something different. So I really like cosplaying as her.
Do you and let's see, I'll pull up some more of these because like these are incredible, which is Captain Marvel. Let's see, Wednesday, like when you get the inspiration, where do you get the inspiration to do some of these cosplays? Is it like you just like, I just want to dress up as this character, or is there an event that you usually do, or?
So I'm a weird cosplayer. I actually don't go to a lot of cons. I just love these characters. They usually have some kind of personal meaning for me, or they're something that a friend of mine or a family member loves, and it inspires me to want to do it. But it also, I enjoy just sometimes the aesthetic of it. But it's just fun.
Oh wow, that's I don't watch that show. What is that show?
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things, yeah. Let's see. And which one is this one? I was trying to figure it out.
That's Alucard from Castlevania. I haven't quite finished him yet, but I love how. So.
And then of course X-Men. Wow. And then of course you do TikTok. So what? I know that often goes hand in hand, but not everyone is a performer.
Yeah.
So what got you really into the TikTok thing?
Being bullied. So Desso here and my friend Ashley were both doing TikTok, and they were telling me how fun it was, and I was one of those people who was just, no, I'm not going to do TikTok. And then everything shut down and closed, and we had nothing to do. So I missed teaching Saber stuff. I missed being able to do hands-on teaching, whether it was crafting or whatever, and TikTok was an outlet. And it just kind of snowballed from there into realizing how much you can do with it. So I always wanted to do acting in some way, and this has been cathartic.
And I've been looking at some of your TikToks, like just so it kind of bleeds into, and I know we're going to talk a little bit further down in the segment about your sabers. It kind of bleeds into your sabers, right? The cosplay and the TikToks and the sabers as well. So what basically do the sabers have anything to do with the TikToks as well?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of Saber TikTok. I'll do cosplay crossovers with lightsabers, and then I have a segment that I call pajama saber training, where it's just me in pajamas teaching basic things. And the idea is you don't need a costume, you don't need anything fancy, just a stick, comfy clothes, and a desire to learn something new. So there's a lot of Saber stuff that I do. I'll have some people who don't know that I'm the same person. They'll see me as my D&D characters, and then they'll go to a Saber video and be like, "Oh my god, you're the same person!" I was like, "It's the tattoos, isn't it? They're a giveaway."
Yeah, definitely. Like that would be a little bit of a because I've even in your the one that we did for the ad, I was like, that is not the same person.
That is the biggest compliment I can get. Is that doesn't look like you? Well, thank you. I did my job. Yeah.
Do you get into character with all the characters that you do, or not always?
It's time and place. Like if I'm just walking around with friends or at a con or something, no, I think that can sometimes be a little too much. Or if I'm at an event for like children or whatever, I'll do a kid-friendly version. But if it's for something like a video or a photo shoot or whatever, yeah, getting into character makes all the difference in the world. So it just depends.
And you do have a lot of friends that you do cosplay with. In fact, I've seen, I don't have any of those pictures, but I've seen some of the collaborations that you've done. Because like I wish I had that photo of you and your friends all like real cosplay and just Saber cosplay.
Well, so one I'm sure you'll enjoy then is last year our Saber group. I was working on a Darth Harlequin, and instead of pigtails, I had my Leiku. So I did Darth Harlequin, and then my friend, she wanted to do Darth Poison Ivy. So we were like, well, why don't we ask the entire Saber group if we could all dress as DC crossovers? And I'm so grateful the group agreed to do it. We had Darth Bane. He even had like the tube going through. We had a Jedi Superman, Wonder Woman, and Green Arrow, and she even did her arrow tips to look like lightsabers. We had a Sith Riddler. It was great. And a Sith Catwoman, too. It was so much fun, but, it was something the group agreed to do instead of you have to do this. But crossovers and group stuff like that are so much fun.
What's some of the cosplays that you or some of the cons that you go to? Because I know some some cosplayers have favorites.
So honestly, the only con I really do is our local con, Pensacon. I just don't really have the means to get everywhere else for other cons. We've been to a couple of others, but one of them doesn't even happen anymore. But it's just timing. I'd like to go to more. I just don't have a chance.
I get that one. I don't know if you've answered this one. What's kind of been your favorite to put together? I don't know if I heard that one. Things are kind of breaking up for me.
My favorite.
Bellatrix. Bellatrix, you said, but
it's fun to do. But my favorite to put together is probably the 10th Doctor. That was just so much joy. I loved it.
Oh wow, yeah, the 10th Doctor. What really went into that one? Because let me see, I'm gonna pull that back up.
So I bought a little old lady suit from Goodwill. It was a pantsuit, and I started looking around for stuff that could match, like shoes, whatever could fit. And of course, I'm wearing a 4th Doctor tie because I don't have a different tie to go with it. But I redesigned the pants into a skirt so I could actually run, because I was doing a lot of running dress as that character. There's actually a full family cosplay that goes with that. We have the 10th Doctor, a Weeping Angel. I made a full Dalek, and then he was a Cyberman. So we had like a full gamut. It was great.
So you guys are all Doctor Who fans, then I take it?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm looking through. What inspires you to like really do these cosplays? And do you just like I know I asked that all before, but like what inspires you to really like I'm gonna go in and make that character, because I know you don't like look at every character and go, that not that character but that character. What makes you want that one?
And we all have dream cosplays we wish we could do, but sometimes it's either we feel like it's out of our league, or just trying to put it together is too complicated. So what I like to start with is accessibility. Like the being able to go to a thrift store and find materials, or do I have that fabric locally? Like there's one that I want to work on, is Steampunk Princess Leia. I can't work on it because it's not accessible right now. The fabric isn't. But sometimes it's in the moment. Ooh, I like watching a lot of the 10th Doctor. I want to do that. Allons-y, let's go do the thing. And I will start many projects and not finish them, but the ones that I push through and finish are the ones that sit at the tip of my brain all the time, and I think about just those characters that they make you feel good. So those are the ones that I get finished.
You mentioned Princess Leia, but is there any others that you're kind of hoping to start putting together, or are putting together and haven't finished yet?
I need to fix Dante from Devil May Cry. I need to finish Asajj Ventress. I'm going to remake my Cenobite, and I'm working on Vaughn from Seven Deadly Sins.
Deadly Sins. And do you do any specifically for TikTok? Like, is it ever, because I know that they have those I'm not a big TikToker, but I know that they have those challenges. You like make any cosplays for those challenges?
No, I don't see them in time. I'll try to do versions of the challenges with what I have, but things move so quickly on TikTok. I took to doing the different dance trends that came up. I started doing them with lightsabers because it was like, I don't know how to do the dances, but I know how to spin my lightsaber. So I'll copy trends doing that.
In fact, that TikTok video that I showed at the beginning is so cool. What is that made of? Because there's no picture of it that you sent me.
Which one?
The where you bite your lip at the awkward smile.
What was the question for it?
Oh, what went into that costume? That is so cool. Like there's a huge hammer.
So the axe is actually from a different cosplay, and it has become that character's. The full story behind that D&D TikTok character is I didn't know D&D TikTok was a thing, and then when I saw it is a thing, it was like, I've been playing D&D since I was 8, so I need to do this. And I don't know if you're a Monty Python fan, but the song "I'm a Lumberjack" just felt like random D&D creation. So the first video I ever did with that character was "I'm a Lumberjack," and it was showing random character generation because she's a gnome, half-orc barbarian. And I went to my closet, pulled out a ton of stuff. I made the neck piece, and I was like, this wig and these goggles. And it was kind of like haphazard. I was just so excited to see that D&D TikTok was a thing. I didn't think about it. And now, like, if I forget my goggles, people remind me. Or my teeth. They're like, did she lose her goggles in a game or something? What happened? I'm like, I just forgot to put them on. So, like, that's how that all came together. And she's just kind of become her own thing. It's great. I love how people get attached to characters and help bring them to life. It's great. Also a little scary.
Is she an actual character that you D&D with?
She is now. We started doing YouTube episodes with her because all of my D&D OCs were just characters I created for TikTok, not characters I play. But they're happening now.
We actually did that one a couple times live on TikTok for some one shots.
Yeah.
So
It was.
So
Yeah.
What exactly is she?
She is a half gnome, half orc. Mom's a bard, dad's a gnome. Artificer. Yeah, he's an artificer, and she decided to run away and become a barbarian because she was bored. So she does pit fighting, and I decided to go with the anti-dramatic D&D backstory.
Yeah. That classic, I gotta run away from home. Yeah, I play that one all the time. Yeah.
But her came from her mom as a gift, and the goggles are... Sorry, my cat's yelling. The goggles are a gift from her dad, because they were like, here's money, go, adventure, do a thing. So, yeah, it's... I love how the character's name is Galeska, and she became what she is because of audience participation on TikTok, because of people talking to me, people asking questions, and me going, this, and just making it up as I went. And it's become a great community. It really has.
So there are audience, because I haven't seen that video. There's audience participation with your D&D.
So there was at first with our live streams. What we did is we decided to make it a choose your own adventure, where, let's say I get to guards at a gate. I would look at the camera and say, okay, guys, here are the options we have. I can attack them, talk to them, or bribe them. What are we going with? And we would tally up which one got the most votes, and we would go from there. And I love that format. It's a lot of fun seeing people's ideas. They would throw stuff out there that I didn't think of. Some of it you have to ignore, but it was very interesting seeing how that played out. So
it's amazing how many TikTok or how many D&D thing. It's like seduce them. No. I think that's what my that's more my character than anything. How actually I'll ask, because I love D&D. How long have you guys been doing D&D?
Since we met, we've been playing a long time.
A long time.
So
a long time.
Over 2 decades.
Ooh,
for me.
Wow.
Yeah. I came from a D&D family where that's what they played. It was military. You know, you played with your friends on base. And so my mom taught me, she taught my brother, my sister. We all played D&D. So, and when we met, actually...
it's kind of the reason we met.
One of the first things was, so you play D&D? What's your favorite class? And like...
What edition do you play?
But it wasn't just him, like, doing the whole gatekeeper thing. It was both of us, like, oh yeah, what do you multi-class as? Just very testy, and we've been gaming together ever since. So it's a lot of fun. I say that a lot because it's true.
You game together, you saber together. What do you not do together?
We are part of all things.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I think that is a good segue into handing you guys over to Ark to talk a little bit more about your sabers.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you, guys.
Woohoo! I'm so excited that we have you on. We had the technical difficulties last week, so I'm so happy you guys agreed to come back again this week. Thank you both very much.
Thank you for having us back.
Glad to be here.
Yay! And before we go on, I want to say your cosplay is absolutely amazing. Everybody around here knows I keep toys up at the store, and I have like Raven stuff all over the shop. So when I saw Raven, I was like, all right, these are good people. So I want to ask you guys, we talked a lot about your cosplay. You mentioned your sabering in there, and now that's something that you guys do together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, you guys are just all over the place. You're multi-talented. So you actually have a saber school that you teach at, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Gulf Coast Saber Training, we started it in 2014. We started by bringing people in to learn as we were learning. It started with we wanted to know how, and as we were learning, having more people come in so we can show what we learned really helped get us all started.
Wow. Yeah. So you said as you were learning, so were you guys like, you were Star Wars fan, and you said 2014, so that would that have been around the time of the Force Awakens?
May I answer?
It was right before Force Awakens, and yes, you may.
So it was a birthday party, and there were wooden dowels made to look like lightsabers.
I painted sticks.
And we were all outside. Yeah. While we were all outside playing, we just looked at each other and was like, what if we really did this? What if we actually practiced? And so we started looking stuff up, and we were practicing by ourselves. And that's how we came across TPLA and what we trained with. It was like, oh my God, there's actual structured learning, and just went from there. And we were like, hey, anybody want to join us in doing this? So we have different levels of training where it's hobby, this is really awesome, and this is a lifestyle. We have this is a lifestyle.
Right.
So.
But now, okay, so you went from the wooden dowels, but at some point you must have found out about lightsabers and the lightsaber community and the bigger. I know you mentioned, and Tony was interested in finding out about your involvement about the TPLA and the ASL. FFE, there it is. See, thank you. Yeah. But how did you go from wooden sticks to then, did you then research online about the sabers, or?
So it started off with me just being a nerd and trying to do it myself, and I realized I didn't know enough yet, so I did go online and start looking up stuff. Found Terra Prime Light Armory and started, stepping along with the videos that were there, moving 3 steps at a time, trying to get that done, and eventually learning from there. After a while, the whole program changed, and they actually started giving feedback and things like that. So we progressed not just from hobbyists learning about it, but actually like going to a dojo and learning how to actually combat using the saber.
And when it comes to the lightsaber side, actually having a saber in hand, that took a lot longer because sabers can be pricey. So we started off with the dowels, foam swords,
foam swords for a while,
and any makeshift item we could find, and we tried to pass that to other people where you don't have to have expensive utensils to use what you have.
Right.
And it affects your training because you become more mindful of what you're doing, what's around you, what you have in your hand. And of course, when we got our lightsabers, we were training in a parking lot, and like true adults, you run up and down the parking lot making lightsaber noises, yelling, I have a lightsaber.
Yep. Right. That's what adults do.
Exactly. You give us adult money, we're going to spend it on lightsabers.
Yes.
But we did a lot of research before we jumped into anything because we didn't want to be a bunch of jerks with glow sticks. We wanted to make sure that we were checking ourselves before we passed any of it on to other people. And I tell everyone all the time, we did the stupid stuff, so you don't.
Right. Right. So you started off with these wooden sticks and these dowels. How long were you doing that before you got to a saber?
6 months, almost 8 months.
I want to say that we ended up breaking the dowels before anything, but we got some foam swords and we did those for like 2 or 3 months. So I want to say about 4 months. Our first sabers were gifts to us.
Yeah.
And still thankful for that. They still work. And then we ended up hers doesn't, mine does. But we ended up getting new ones the following year because we were going to be teaching other people. It's a different weight distribution, holding a foam sword, a lightsaber, the handles. It's a whole different ballgame, and you learn as you go. but it's it's a far cry going from a dowel and some paint for $3 versus a lightsaber, which at the time was $250 to get 2 of them.
Right,
So,
right,
it's a
right.
big deal.
So did you feel like every time you were changing, you would start off with the wood, then you went to like the foam. It's like the three little piggies, right? You keep like advancing to the bigger one, and then you finally get, a combat saber. Do you have to kind of relearn things because the weight distribution is different? I mean, obviously on a saber, you've got a much heavier blade, whereas a foam, on the wood, it would be evenly distributed. And the same with the foam.
So there is, with anything, whenever you change what is in your hand, there's going to be a bit of a learning curve because, the way your muscles in your arm move are going to be a little bit different. How your wrist rotates is going to be a little bit different. It wasn't too difficult. It was actually gauging range after going from a shorter foam blade to a, longer saber blade. So it was more risking hitting yourself and the people around you and having to get used to that than the weight. But I don't think it took too long to kind of change over. But we were also training a lot. So
we were training, 8 days a week, it felt like at some points.
Yeah.
Wow.
But, going from like the wooden dowels to a wooden sword, we ended up collecting boken. We have a host of boken that I still go back to just because of the weight on them and training and stuff like that. But there is a nuanced change, but it's still swords. It's still edge alignment. It's still body mechanics, and that you can't take that out of it. So it ends up being.
And we hold on to those so that way, if we have trainees who don't have anything, we can loan them out to people. We don't expect people to come in with expensive pieces of equipment. We've had kids come in with those collapsible sabers before, and we're like, that's fine, as long as you're comfortable. So we try to make sure that everyone has something, and we've trained with it first because of that learning curve. So we know how to adjust training for what they have in their hands.
Right. So when we're talking about training, we are talking about combat training, correct?
So there's two sides of it. We do not expect anybody who comes to training to ever fight. The ASL FFE training is separate from our TPLA training. TPLA training is going through your Dulons, your movements. If we want to simplify it, it's the workout. You're getting a total body workout that day while learning something. When it comes to the combat, we separate those two because we know some people aren't comfortable gearing up and fighting, and we do require full gear to be able to duel. Not everyone's okay with that. So they are separate things.
I think the biggest difference between the two of them is the TPLA side. Like she said, it's the workout, but it's the technique and it's the form and the practice. If you're looking at the AFL FFE, that's the rule set with which you will combat. There are so many rule sets that are out there that you will learn. If you start with just the TPLA workout, you have a good foundation to move into other things.
But I want to bring up something really, really super important. That's what we use to train. That's our combat that we like to use. Do whatever. If, you and your friends want to run around and play, that's awesome.
Just be safe.
We're not gatekeepers. This is what we do. We're not saying this is the only way to do it.
Right. And for some of our viewers out there, now I know TP is Terra Prime, but can you explain to people what Terra Prime is? And then when you're talking about ASL, FEE, these some people may not know what those are. Can you explain a little bit about that to our viewers?
Sure. So you got the Terra Prime Light Armory. That's the TPLA. That's the header that everything's under. ASL stands for Académie de Saber Laser. It's the French wording for the Academy of Lightsabers, if you will, or laser swords specifically.
That's Faisal, right?
And then the FFE is the French Fencing Federation, but in French it ends with a screamer. That's why the E.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the ASL FFE to signify it is light sword fencing. That's what it's for. Yeah. And it's specifically that rule set which has been recognized by the FFE.
Yeah.
Okay. So you teach these. So if somebody were to come into your class, and they were interested in doing competitive training, you have programs for them. But if they just want to, I guess, get the exercise and learn the routines, that's a whole separate class.
Exactly.
Is that correct?
We have a lot of trainees who come in where they want to get in shape, they want to get up and moving, but they don't want a gym membership. So this is a good balance. One, it's free to train with us, and two, we're a bunch of nerds. Yeah. You know, we'll give Marvel references for your workout. We'll do all sorts of things, but it's a safe place for people to come, get moving, and by the end of it, you didn't realize you were working out because you were learning something different rather than a piece of equipment at the gym. The FFE ASL is a lot more focused, and I tell everyone all the time when you're doing it, whatever rule set you're using to fight, the worst thing that's going to happen is you get hit. Once you get that shock out of the way, no matter how armored you are, it is still a shock. You're fine. Because,
right.
You know, we're not supposed to be wailing on each other. We're not supposed to be hitting as hard as we can. I'm the mama bear where I will step in and, you know, stop the round. You're hitting too hard. That doesn't apply. So while they are two separate things, we encourage people to at least give it a try. But we never want people to feel like they have to do more than what they're comfortable with. Right.
So you were, I just heard you mention that the class was free. Your academy that you have, are all your classes free, or some of them, or they're like introductory classes and then more advanced classes, or?
So we started training in a parking lot. That's, you know, hey, come on over and help learn with us. After the parking lot, we ended up moving to our local park because it was more open. We weren't in danger of getting run over. We didn't have to say car and get out of the way. We were just there. After being there for, I think, 3 years, we reached out to a local owner of a dojo, Tiger Rock, and at the behest of a friend of ours. And he said, oh, you guys are the ones who have been in the park for the past 3 years. And I want you to come in and have a conversation with me about using my dojo. So we come in with a big book of all of our curriculum, like, hey, this is what we're teaching. And we come in with the book, and he looks at it and says, so what's your favorite Star Wars movie? Because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. And, when can you guys move in? Was essentially the conversation we had.
So the deal was to go back to the original question about it being free and everything. Our mindset is we got to do martial arts for a little bit years ago, and it was just, financially speaking, it was too much. We wanted to be able to continue, and it was a burden. We loved it, but we just couldn't do it anymore. And so when we put this together, we were discussing whether we'd have fees or not. You know, of course, the Mighty Mouse being involved, not wanting to upset them. But as we were discussing it, it was, no, let's think about where we were when we started, what we were wanting to get out of this, and let's make that accessible to everybody. So when we teach, because of where we're at in our training, we know what we're allowed to train. Everyone starts at basics. It doesn't matter what your background is. Everyone starts at basics, and you're going to be there for a while because there's a lot to learn. I've been doing this 7 years, and going back to the beginning is still refreshing for me because I always find something better to do. With the dojo story, moving in, it was a give and take situation of, hey, you know, I'll let you use this dojo. Will you please sometimes come and teach? And instead of paying him, we clean the dojo when we're done using it.
Old school.
And I tell all of our students, you know, appreciate the place where you're at, respect it. This is going to make you more connected to your environment because we're now a part of the care. And that can be used to talk about taking care of yourself, even whatever. So we needed to find a place inside because we're in Florida, and some of our trainees trying to train during the summer, it's just too much for them. So we were looking for a place, and like he said, Master Reeves was very kind and let us use that space. But it's free because we want it to be available to everybody, and it worked out that way.
That's so cool. Do you have any so how is it only like a couple nights a week, or how many nights a week do you involve yourself with the academy?
So our training with TPLA is on a constant basis for our training. When it comes to Gulf Coast Saber training, we have classes once a week, which is on a Sunday. That's the happy medium for everyone's work schedule, so no one feels left out or rushed.
Lots of 9 to 5s around here.
Yeah, so we have it once a week for that. But if we're doing a choreography for a show, we'll have people come over during the week and train then. So, we open it up a little bit during the week, but honestly, it's just Sundays.
I want to touch on that real quick too. We do training, and it is combat oriented, martial arts oriented, but it has led to us doing some pretty interesting choreography stuff, both on stage and on camera.
Right. Do you guys at all do you do flow at all?
I do.
She does more flow. I like watching flow artists personally. The version of flow that I do is what we call sundogs, where it's freeform shadow boxing, and it's part of my regular training as well. So,
Okay. So you guys, it sounds like I'm just trying to envision what a day in your guys' life looks like, because it sounds like, first off, I think that it's absolutely amazing that you are a married couple, because, oftentimes you hear like, oh, you should never work with your husband or wife, dude, you're going to end up hating each other. What I love about you guys, or what sounds so fascinating to me, is that you both have the same interest, and you're not judgmental. You're both all about like, hey, if you want to do it, let's do it. You just jump right into it. It seems like you guys are very united on your nerd culture stuff.
I think we definitely inspire and push each other to do more than what we've done previously. I know she does for me. There was something else I was going to touch on for that, but go ahead.
But for that, when it comes to don't work with your partner, we met working together. So it started there. But he's the very literal minded. These are the names of the different things. I'm a lot more chaotic, so it balances each other out. Everyone has a variety of ways to learn. I'm very hands-on. I can't read it. I need to be able to do it. He can read something and dissect it and do it perfectly. So when it comes to training, one of our students said that I'm the Dr. Seuss of the group, and he's the scholar. So for me, like when we're training footwork, I'll say, okay, we're going to play a game. It's called Don't Kick the Cat. You're walking like a cat, weaving between your feet, and you're doing this with your feet. Don't kick that cat. And he's very, okay, here's the name of the steps.
I'm very Tolkien about it, where I put way too many words.
Here's the angle your foot should be. Your toes should be right here. So it balances each other out very much.
Right.
That's what I was going to say. Quarantine has really put into focus that statement you made about don't work with your partners or whatever, because now we're around each other all the time, not just most of the time, and it's only gotten better. It's only gotten more strengthened.
Yeah, definitely. Because with Saber training, like if you were to ever come to class, we tell people all the time, communication. If you're not understanding something, if you're confused on something, don't be embarrassed. I guarantee we did the same thing. And during this past year, we've been able to, okay, I can now see why I was having a problem. It's how you explained it like this. could you maybe use these words instead?
Practicing teaching each other.
So we can be better
teach
teachers
others.
for other people.
Right. That's fantastic. And do you guys, do either of you or both of you, do you guys work like regular 9 to 5s, or are you at the point in your life where, okay, I mean, you don't, okay, because you're not charging for the classes, so obviously, you're not, you're not living through that. Sometimes when I interview people, especially cosplayers, sometimes they'll start by making their own costumes, and then people are like, oh, can you make me this and this? And then it just turns into a career that they never even intended on having, but they were making more money making costumes than they were, at their regular 9 to 5 job. Is there, when you guys are doing this, it sounds like you're putting a lot of time and thought and effort, because even when you're not in class, I'm sure you're sitting there chopping up dinner, making dinner, and talking about what's going to happen at tomorrow night's class. Do you have any, God, I don't want this to sound bad. Do you have like revenue streams, or is that something that's not important to you at all? Or
it's honestly not a focus, because we were able, back when we started this, back when things were still rough, and it was an outlet. So again, that assumption was, if we're going through a hard time, what if this is going to be someone else's outlet? And it doesn't take a lot of money to just spend a moment working with someone. And because we like being very active together, it was a great way of, instead of sweating to some workout DVD, let's pick up a lightsaber and work out together. I make a tiny little bit doing TikTok stuff, but honestly, like you said, we do spend like dinner preparation time or whatever discussing what our next focus on class is going to be, because it inspires us to push us, and we just enjoy it. There's no financial gain or incentive to it. It's just enjoyable for us.
We were actually talking about that right before the show. So.
Right. Well, there's you might consider possibly a nonprofit status. I mean, it sounds like you're doing the work anyways. And I love that you're doing that, by the way, because even here at Kyber Cave, we recently closed our doors because we're getting a warehouse going, but we did free battles every Saturday night. And part of that came from my philosophy ever since we started that. Even if we had paid classes or other things, I always wanted to have events, because not everybody, I grew up that poor kid. If it wasn't for some of the community events that were put on by, my elders, I wouldn't have gotten to go to any community events. So I love your guys' philosophy. I think that's so cool. But I'm trying to figure out, like, are there ways to spread this? Like, do you guys do anything online, or do you do videos or anything as well?
Real quick, I want to touch on something. TPLA actually is now a nonprofit.
That's where I was going.
Any events or anything that we do are usually charity events to begin with. So, it's all directed over there. I don't know. It's not something we've really thought about.
Yeah, it's not been a focus of ours. Our focus has literally been just the classes and those who want to come do. And, they progress as they want to. And if they want to progress further than what we're going to teach them, the TPLA forums are there to give them better feedback, more feedback, and let them progress on student and apprentice programs.
Give them the direction that they need. Now, the one thing you run into is reminding people you have to have the will and the want to train. We can't do that for you. And so you do find that people who pay for classes, there's that monetary side of it of, I put money into this, I'm going to try a little bit harder. I haven't really noticed any lackluster training from people when they're there, they're training. So I don't know how much of an incentive putting money in it is.
Yeah, the people that are there to train.
Yeah.
So that's been the benefit of it.
Right. And I don't know how much, I'm sure COVID would have affected you, especially if you're doing live group trainings and things like that together. But before that, how many students did you have, or how many students do you typically have in a night?
We had, it was anywhere from 5 to upwards of 18.
I think we capped out at 22 once.
Right, I remember that.
Wow.
And then like next week, it would kind of level off because not everybody can be there every week either.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
you don't have to come every time, but as long as you come to train that day, you're going to walk home with something, or having learned something.
You're going to get out of it what you put in.
Now, on the other end of that, when we did the Pensacon events, part of the event was we would have our 45-minute segment be a class during Pensacon, and we would have to rotate out, and we would have upwards of 50 people or 60 people who just come for class. So they'll get like a 15-minute drill on stancing or blade placement.
Of me yelling at them.
Of her yelling at them.
You're like a drill sergeant.
I am. I'm a nice sergeant. I'm just very firm in what I have to say.
But I mean, it really depends. On our regular classes, we would say anywhere from 5 to 15 on a regular basis.
And are you guys the only? Oh, sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
I was going to ask, are you guys the only ones in your area that's doing anything like that? Sometimes, like where I live in Fairfield. So we have, Sacramento is an hour away. San Francisco's an hour away. So you have smaller little groups there. But sometimes when I talk to people, they're like the only Saber people in the whole state. How are you guys? Do you have other Saber groups you can compete with or practice with, or is it pretty much you guys are the only game in town?
We are the only group that trains formally like this. In Mobile and a couple of other areas, you have Saber Legion where they just focus on combat. It's not training. So when it comes to the training side, we're it in our area. You've had a couple groups that pop up, but like you mentioned before, it's a lot of work and you can get burned out easily and it can be hard to keep up with. So, you'll have a group form, we'll reach out to them and be like, hey, let's get together. And like 6 months later, they're like, we're done, by the way, we stopped.
Right.
But in our area, we also have, we're active in the fighting group Daga here as well. So you have Daga here and SCA. And so we all like mix and mingle and talk, and there's training exchanges there too.
And we have some SCA members and Dagger here members who come to our training.
And then we go to them for training.
Them for fighting and stuff. So,
but when it comes to lightsaber in our area, training specific, not fighting, we're really the only group in our area.
Right. So so you're kind of known for being the lightsaber people, huh?
We're the lightsaber people, yes.
That's very cool. So with all that you guys have going, you have the TikTok going, you have your cosplay, you're doing choreography, you're doing the classes, Desso has a full-time job. What do you see within this next year? We're starting to come out of COVID now, so people are coming out of hibernation and getting back out in the sun. What is that going to mean for you guys? Is that going to mean more work on your plates, or what are you guys going to be focusing on this next year?
So when things open back up, that means there's going to be more events taking place, which will probably mean either doing cosplay stuff for that or saber work. And that also means people, at the end of this month, we're opening training back up to everybody for our vaccinated folks to join in. And so things are going to start picking up from there. We don't want to go from 0 to 100 and overwhelm ourselves and wear ourselves out. But we do want to start seeing things get back moving again. And I'm looking forward to it. I miss doing some of those charity events for sure.
Same.
Right. Do you guys do like trooping and stuff like with any of the like 501st or
no? We get invited to some of the events that they're at. We do as well, but we're not a part of any of those groups.
The big difference, of course, 501st isn't allowed to do combat on site. So that's why
Rebel Legion.
Or Rebel Legion, you know, any of those costume things for liability and stuff like that. That's what we have, because that's what we do. So when there needs to be an event, we did a John Williams tribute concert, and 501st was on stage, but it was myself and one of my trainees
That was an amazing fight.
Yeah, as the show, and then it had me after defeating the Jedi kneeling down toward Vader. So
this is an important thing to bring up: is we don't step on their toes.
No,
we want to make sure that they understand we respect their space,
right?
And we all work together. There's always communication. If you're doing Saber stuff, you have to be aware of the various nuances and rules that are out there, and make sure that you're playing well with everybody, because we're all here to entertain people and have fun. It's not a competition, unless you're suited up and actually competing. But we should all enjoy this space and be a positive influence on the Star Wars fandom. So just wanted to throw that out there.
And so as these changes are happening this year, do you, like with your school, do you ever envision a place where you have like your own dojo and you have, you know, what happens when 50 students show up? Like, is it still going to be just you guys trying to keep it?
We go back.
Yeah,
that's the go to the soccer field. That's where we're headed.
No, I don't. I'll look at empty buildings and be like, you know what? Either that would be fun for a Nerf war or opening up a lightsaber school. But I don't see it actually happening. It's been 2 years now that we've been in the dojo.
Yeah, I think we're working.
And I'm still like, every time we walk in, I'm like, oh my God, we're indoors. So I'm still really grateful to be at. That's a little far in the future if that were to ever happen. But
all right.
you know.
Believe me, I understand. When we first started Kyber Cave, our first storefront was like the size of a bedroom. So every Friday nights we did battle in the park. There was a park like a block away from our store. So we'd be out there at night, and you know, we were on the main intersection, and people would see all these glowing sabers. And then Sunday mornings we did actual training. So I'm right there with you. I know exactly what you're talking about. But it is an amazing way to meet your community. I'm sorry, say that again.
When we're practicing choreography for an event, we'll have people turn off the main road to come see what we're doing, because we don't have any fences up. So we'll just have cars parked along our house. I just want to see what you're doing. Can you do that? And it's like, okay, guys, this is practice for when we have an audience. Let's do this.
Can you do that again, please? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's so funny. Our neighbors are used to it by this point. They're like, oh, hey, that's nice. Have a good day.
So, you know, as we're getting close to wrapping up here, you know, this begs the question then, you know, what is the big drive? Like you were talking about enjoying seeing other people entertained. Do you do this for your own entertainment, or is it because you enjoy entertaining others, or is it somewhere in the middle?
It's an absolute yes.
For both.
Not just in the middle. It is literally both weighed down heavily.
Seeing other people enjoying the training makes me want to train harder, which makes me want to train more people, which makes me want to train harder. So it's constantly feeding into itself. Yeah, that. Yeah. For real.
That is absolutely amazing. Well, I will tell you what, you guys are both an absolute inspiration to me. I love how you guys are doing this together. So many times when you see couples, this is so funny. I was talking to my roommate because I was telling him, he was like, him and his buddy are on Tinder, and I was like, dude, I don't even know why you bother with all that. You need to like just go to things you're interested in and just start hanging out with other people that do what you like doing anyways. I think that is the best place to meet your partner. But I think you guys are definitely a prime, beautiful example of a beautiful marriage and a beautiful friendship and a beautiful school. You guys got it all going on, man.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
I kind of feel like going off screen and blowing right now.
Well, you guys are absolutely amazing. Their TikToks and your cosplay is absolutely incredible. I love that you're able to do all that going through the
Thank
thrift
you.
store, because some of your costumes, when they were showing them on stage or on the when Phoenix was showing them, they looked like, something that you would buy from a professional cosplay designer online. So absolutely amazing. Hey, where can people find out more about you guys if they want to find out about your school, or if they want to find out about events that you're doing? How can they find you?
So Gulf Coast Saber Training on Facebook. He's got the shirt here. You can't miss it. Our symbol is a galaxy butterfly. So Gulf Coast Saber Training is where we post all of the stuff that we're doing. Of course, if you want to learn what we're doing, but you don't want to have to look at us, TPLA is a great way to
Terra
go.
Prime Light Armory, both on Facebook.
Yep.
Gulf Coast Saber Training also has a YouTube, but I've been kind of neglecting it because we haven't had people in the class for the past year. So
on Facebook
that's gonna be
for our
lighting up.
training group.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And what about the TikTok? If people wanted to catch up with your TikTok, where would they? And that's the other thing too. Your TikTok, is it both for the Gulf Coast Saber and your personal cosplay? Or are they two separate things, or does Gulf Coast Sabers not have one?
Gulf Coast Saber never we never put together one for our group. So it's just me doing it, and I will push people in the direction of our Facebook page for that.
Or Terra Prime Light Armory.
Because as much as I love doing stuff, I don't do Twitch and all this other stuff because I don't feel like continuously downloading new apps and having to keep up with another thing. So I figured just do Saber stuff on my high thrall and then encourage people to go to our Facebook. So it works out.
Fantastic. And did I miss, where did they find you on TikTok on that for your cosplay? Did I miss that?
It's High Thrall. HYTHRALL.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, Anna, Desso, I want to thank both of you guys tonight. It has been an absolute pleasure being on with you guys. You guys are an amazing couple. Hopefully I can get out to the Gulf Coast sometime and come take a class with you guys. I'll be out there in the park with you. Because you're gonna, at that point, excellent. You're gonna have like 75 students.
And thank you again for giving us a second chance after last week's whole thing. So thank you again for having us.
We were glad to have you.
After Tony Negron was actually who told me that I needed to reach out and find out about you guys. So after Tony's glowing recommendation, we could not have you guys on.
He's like a silent producer on this show, so.
Thank you guys so much. You guys have a beautiful evening.
Thank you.
You too.
Bye.
Goodbye. Woohoo!
That was an amazing interview.
Wow, dude. I think that's really cool. A lot of times when I talk to different Saber companies, you see these married couples, but they are just glowing. They got their stuff together, man.
Mm-hmm.
I hope to be half as organized as either of them.
I know.
Honestly.
Well, Ezra, this is your last show. Do you want to say anything before you sign off to go serve our country?
It's my last show for now. I'll be back.
You'll be back. I'll be back. You got to say in the Arnie voice. Oh, look at Phoenix.
Phoenix, don't cry.
No, Phoenix, don't cry.
You make us so proud, Ezra, and I just really wanted to say that. So yeah, before I turn into a mess again, we are so proud of you, and we will miss you so much.
I'm gonna miss all of you.
All right, my friends. The Kyber Cave is coming along this week. We should be moving into our new warehouse. The storefront probably won't be open for a couple of more months. Ezra's shipping off to camp. We should hopefully, Miss Phoenix and I are going to be getting together and getting the website going. So hopefully within the next week or two, we'll have a a functioning website where you can at least order some Kyber Cave merchandise.
Hopefully.
You're leaving behind a big mess, so we're gonna miss you.
That sounds like you're jumping ship at about the right time, dude.
Oh man, for real.
I kind of feel like this is planned.
Yeah.
I wasn't supposed to ship off till next month, man.
Tony said you should have joined the Navy.
I see. The Navy recruiter made me feel like a number. That's the only reason I didn't join the Navy.
What's the Marine say? Oorah.
Hoorah.
Hoorah.
And then Army says hoo-yah.
Hoo-yah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Does the Air Force say booyah? Or is that just like
No, they
hip-hop?
they say hoorah with the H. Marines say oorah, and then Navy and Army both say hoo-yah.
And Coast Guard is who you?
I don't know what Coast Guard says. I don't think
Who you?
I don't think Coast Guard says anything because technically, I believe aren't they?
They are one of the 5 military. I guess that can be debated. Some people say they are. Some people say they aren't.
I'm pretty sure that they're just. I'm pretty sure that they're national security.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
I have a. Oh.
Okay, before we start getting pissing off viewers, hopefully there's nobody that works for the Coast Guard watching right now.
He's already started. He's already started. He's got a lifetime of this.
Oh man.
Yeah. Definitely got a lifetime.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I apologize for the technical difficulties at the top of the show. Homeland Department, not Defense Department.
Okay, so they're Homeland Security.
Okay.
So they're not. I'm not even going to get into that.
All right.
We'll get into that later.
Hey, and just to let you know too, we are still actively looking for another host for the show. If you are interested in being the next Ezra, although nobody can be the next Ezra, as only Ezra.
It's going to be temporary. I'm going to be back.
You're going to be back. We are looking for a host / PA. You will have other responsibilities. Working directly under Director Phoenix. She is a slave driver. She is brutal. So if you like to be abused and you like to work on a show for no pay whatsoever, give us a call. We're looking for you.
I think that's why Phoenix is sad that I'm leaving. She doesn't get to beat me up anymore.
I know, dude. You're the whipping boy is gone. All right, whipping boy, we are going to miss you. I will see you on the other side of boot camp.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.